Hello, everyone. A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are. And I hope you all are safe in these difficult times. I'm Aditya Mure, and I work as a technical architect for RPA and digital transformations at V2 Solutions. I want to thank you all for taking time to join today's webinar, Extending RPA. This is the fourth webinar in our series of webinars focusing on RPA. A quick glance at the housekeeping section of this webinar. You have a Q&A section available on your screen that you can use to raise your questions. We will pick up a few of those randomly towards the end of the presentation. However, we'll try our best to respond to all the questions over the email eventually. This webinar is also being recorded, and you will receive a link with email to the recording in next 24 hours. Recordings of our previous webinars are also available on our website. The link to it is visible on your screens right now, or you can drop us a note and we'll be happy to provide you the links as well. Quickly moving on, here's what we are going to cover in today's webinar. First of all, we'll take a look at the journey of RPA till now. We will then go through the limitations of RPA that market identified during this journey. Then we will see how people are trying to overcome those challenges. And finally, our take on what next for RPA to continue its journey by being a strong player in digital transformation landscape. So before we start, I would quickly run through our RPA practice here at V2 Solutions. V2 Solutions is into delivering intelligent automations to clients across the globe. We have expertise in SAP and web automation with over 120 processes automated involving SAP till now. We are also the implementation partners for leading RPA platforms available in the market. With a large pool of certified developers for these platforms, we have over 300 robotic workflows in production, saving 35,000 plus man hours so far, and more than 200,000 successful transactions. All right, now without any further delay, let's get started with our webinar, Extending RPA. Now the RPA, which started its journey in year 2000, has seen a huge transformation itself in the last few years. It started with simple task automation, where a robot would mimic simple user actions in a given application under the supervision of human operators. We know this as attended automation. But it soon got more capabilities, and robots started running independently, making it possible to automate complete processes. We call it as unattended automation now. With image recognition technology getting matured over the period, it was integrated in RPA as well. And the result was that we could also perform automations on Citrix environments. This broadened the scope of RPA a lot. With the changes happening in RPA, we not only saw faster execution, but also enormous increase in the quality of work done by the robots. And now it is at a stage where it doesn't just mimic user actions, but also connects to different services via APIs, allowing it to automate more complex and bigger tasks. But at the same time, it also managed to generate a lot of interest in business users who are not essentially tech savvy. And we ended up seeing more than 63% year-on-year growth in RPA market. But with so many advancements happening in RPA, it still lagged in certain areas. And because of that, a lot of business processes remained outside the purview of RPA. In the next slide, we will be discussing a few of them. The first and foremost is working with unstructured data. Robots by default can only work with structured data like tabular data in Excel, or data coming from an SQL database, or JSON data sent via REST API, or even emails with fixed form of data in it. These can act as input to the robot, which it utilizes to execute the process. Now, this makes processes involving reading of data from documents like invoices, POs, bill of ladings, or any other document for that matter, completely out of scope of RPA. This is because format of these documents is different across different companies. Also, most of the times, different terms are used to represent same type of data, making it impossible to program such things. According to one research, only the finance department of an organization can save up to 25,000 hours from jobs involving processing of financial documents. And RPA is missing all that action. The next big obstacle for RPA is the processes where some kind of human interaction is required. While talking to different business users, we always found this lacking of interaction between robots and human a big obstacle in making a lot of processes impossible to automate. It could be an approval process or a dynamic decision which cannot be programmed, as there's no way of passing on the control to human and then get it back while the process is being executed. Moving on, a major hurdle in any new technology that it faces, it has to prove its worth and the ROI. This can only be done when it provides substantial analytical data. In case of RPA, it is the number of transactions processed, time it took to complete those transactions, robot utilization, and so on. With the absence of such data, getting further buy-in from sponsors is a difficult job. Lastly, RPA works better in a bottom-up approach. That is, the active participation of employees is an essential factor for the success of RPA. Building an automation pipeline without their participation is almost impossible, since they are the ones who are actually working on the processes which can be automated. And the industry has been witnessing a huge challenge in this area. Now, as the industry started facing these challenges, the RPA vendors and the technology partners like us started coming up with different solutions to address them. And that's the topic of discussion of our next slide. Some of the solutions were built right into the RPA tools, and some were third-party integrations made easier to be able to use with RPA. One such example is document extraction. Some companies have started offering direct integration of their product in RPA tools, making it easy for robots to send unstructured documents to them, and in return get the data in structured format, which can then be added in ERP systems like like SAP. Some of these document processing products also offer the maker-checker flow, so that human operators can review the data for certain documents before it gets passed on to the robot for further processing. Of course, none of these tools have been able to provide 100% accurate data, but thanks to machine learning, they are getting smarter day by day in their understanding of various documents. One such product is Neutron for processing and extracting data from various types of documents like invoices, bill of ladings, and insurance reports, to name a few. Its maker-checker workflow allows you to make sure that only the correct data gets passed on to the robots for further processing. Feel free to check out Neutron at neutron.plus. As we saw in the previous slide, robots working in isolation is a major problem. RPA platform soon came up with a concept of human in the loop to resolve this issue. As the name suggests, bots can now bring human operators in the loop when they are not sure about handling a particular situation, or they need an approval for processing certain records. For example, clearing invoices above a certain amount might need an approval from supervisor, or marking attendance of an employee if they have already reached the threshold for auto approval in a given month. Before this human in the loop feature, robots had to simply tag such records in an Excel file and then send it in email as attachment to certain people who would then process such records manually. But now robot passes on the information to its human counterparts in real time and continues to process the other records. When a human operator takes action on those records, a robot continues to process the remaining records as well, thus saving enormous amount of time. We are also seeing a lot of products in market which utilizes machine learning, natural language processing, advanced OCR capabilities, and IoT, which is helping broadening the scope of automation within organizations. These products are offering seamless integration, not only with programming languages like Java, .NET, etc., but also with leading RPA vendors, so that one doesn't have to keep switching between the technologies for end-to-end automation of a process. Finally, the RPA vendors have also started providing much more statistics about robot usage, helping COEs in understanding and presenting the success factors of their RPA implementations, and also using the resources optimally in order to achieve more by being within their budgets. So what next for RPA? We can clearly see that organizations are now getting ready to take their RPA implementations to next level after testing the success, even if it was limited in the initial phase of automation. They are now prepared to start analyzing more complex processes which spans across departments by making use of tools like process discovery, task mining, and process mining. They are open to explore complementary technologies like machine learning, natural language processing, AI, computer vision, and platforms like IBM Watson, Microsoft's cognitive services, and Google's cloud AI to achieve that last mile of digital transformation. And yes, RPA vendors are preparing to support such efforts by bringing more and more technologies with it to make this move smooth. And this phase of RPA is being called as hyper automation, which is nothing but an effective combination of complementary set of tools that can integrate functional and process silos to automate and augment business processes. With the age of hyperautomation, we see RPA as a central piece in digital transformation journey and a glue which connects technologies which were so far out of reach. All right, we are now in the last part of this webinar, and that's Q&A. And I can see already there are some questions. Let me just go through them quickly. Okay. Let's start with this one. How do you see the adoption of human in the loop since its inception? Now, as I said previously, while talking to various business process experts and SMEs from different industries, we always realize that this is the gap which needs to be filled in order to automate the processes end to end. Without this feature, it was mostly smaller tasks from large processes which were getting automated. And it was not enough because people still needed to be involved, and this could not focus completely on the new stuff that they started doing as a result of automation. Uh, but when we introduced this feature with a couple of POCs replicating their real processes, and when they saw how seamless the overall experience is, the acceptance was immediate. One thing to note here is with human in the loop, a little bit of training and change management is required due to the change in how human communicates with the data. For example, initially people might be used to logging to SAP to approve a PO, but with the human in the loop, they will have to open the task assigned to them and provide approval there so that robot can continue with the rest of the processing. Okay, there's a question based on document extraction. How do you, sorry, I am, my bad. Do this document extraction work based on fixed templates? Okay. Um, well, there are ideally two types of document extraction models available as of now. One is a fixed template based, where you configure every unique document before the system can start processing it. So if you have 5 different invoices coming from 5 different vendors, you will have to configure all 5 of them in order to start extracting data from them. If you throw a 6th type of invoice at it, there's a high chance that the system will not return the correct data. On the other hand, the second model is flexible templating. Here you simply throw the document and the platform will extract the information that you need. These models are resilient to the change in structure or format of the documents, and thus you don't have to go through all the hassle of configuring the documents when something is different from it in others. I hope this answers your question. And by the way, you may want to check out our homegrown document extraction platform, Neutron.plus, which provides a flexible templating model for processing and extracting data from different type of documents. All right, moving on to next question. Okay, I see another one related to human in the loop. And in fact, there are more. Okay, so a lot of interest in this human in the loop feature here. So there are a few questions here asking about the availability of this feature in various platforms. So to answer those, a couple of leading RPA platforms like UiPath and Blue Prism support this feature out of the box. In both these platforms, if a robot gets stuck in the process due to any issue like data validation or approval required from supervisor or any unexpected error, a task gets created for human operator with only the required details shown to them, allowing them to take required action. Once human completes the task, a robot takes over the job again and completes the process. Now, there are some other RPA platforms who provide this feature in different ways, like integrating it with some third-party platforms, which I'm sure you all can explore. Okay, so I think that's all the time we have for this webinar. There are a few more questions here, and we shall respond to those separately over email. So thank you once again for your time. You should receive a link to this webinar recording in your mailbox in next 24 hours. Also, we shall be happy to connect for any of your queries with regards to RPA in general or specific to our services. Do drop us a note at our mail ID, rpa.info@v2solutions.com. Thank you once again for joining us. Stay safe.